Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name again is Jeffrey Davis. I am the host of Radio Entrepreneurs, and we are every day posting stories about entrepreneurship, the new economy, or maybe the revised economy, and how people are leading and going to work. Our next guest is AJ Perez, founder and director of Industrial IML. Welcome, AJ.
Thanks for having me, Jeffrey.
Well, thank you. AJ, why don't you talk to us about what Industrial IML is so we can understand it? It's a great picture. I love that background.
Thank you. So Industrial ML is, spin-off would be a strong word. It was founded by myself and a few colleagues from MIT and Harvard to address industrial IoT factory pain. Kind of a lot of legacy factories required a ton of manual labor and human monitoring. And essentially Industrial ML creates the software solutions that are necessary to automate and close the loop for industrial factories.
Okay. Well, how long have you been doing this?
Company was kind of like napkin stage in late 2018, got our first customer in early 2019. So it's been, just over 18 months, 20 months, something in that ballpark.
Okay. And, it's interesting. I guess I would describe you as a serial entrepreneur. Can we get in our Wayback Machine and get you to give us some of your experience? I mean, I'm hearing about organic farming and, and other things that you've done. Can you give us a sense of the natural progression here?
Sure. So I actually describe as a serial inventrepreneur. I put founder up here just to be simple and not have the French, the long French word taking up so much space. But I say inventrepreneur because for the majority of these businesses, I've invented the underlying technology or pieces of the underlying technology that were necessary for the competitive differentiator to actually get out into the marketplace and start winning business. So my first formal foray into entrepreneurship, ignoring the little ventures I had when I was like 8, 9, 12 years old in that ballpark, forgetting the first hustles, real businesses where I took outside capital and scaled and grew the businesses or bootstrapped them for a while, either way. That started with EnvyBots. I founded that company when I was 22. That was a true MIT spin out. We licensed some technology back from the MIT Patent and Trademark Office. And that's where I was an inventor on some of the first portfolio of 3D printing technology there. And EnvyBots was a cloud-based and automated 3D printing service, technology service. And we kind of wrapped it around a 3D printer that I called a factory in a box that you could drop into any classroom or any production facility or an R&D lab, and overnight would streamline your 3D printing workflow, either for students, for designers, or for production folks.
Right.
That business I grew from nothing, like literally just a couple of patents that were filed at MIT and a rat's nest prototype with wires all over the place back in 2013, 14 timeframe. We grew that to a little over $1 million in revenue, sold the business in 2017 to a company called Cincinnati Incorporated.
Interesting. Now, your current company, it's a software you're producing, correct?
Industrial ML, yeah, exactly. It's a software solution. It's a few different pieces of software that fit along the IoT stack, but they're at critical points where we get the best leverage, and they're actually the pieces that create the value for the customer. Like we're not at the sensor level, but we take data from sensors and generate insights and outcome-driven improvements that help optimize your factory. Long story short, what it ends up doing for, say, a $100 million steel business is we can get them back 3-4% on their P&L just by reducing scrap and downtime.
So this is not just in the farming area. You just mentioned working in the steel area, correct?
Yeah, so Industrial ML is focused on industrial factories, right? That's why the name is industrial. Grow Clean is focused on clean, organic, regenerative farming.
Right.
Yeah, I got a lot of things going on. Sometimes the brands get a little mixed up.
Well, I did. You sort of got me on the farming and this with the picture behind me, but now I'm getting into this other thing. So you're running two companies at the same time, simultaneously?
Industrial ML. So because I'm a serial founder, I take on different roles depending on the company, what the company needs, when it needs it from me. So in the very early days of Industrial ML, the first like 6-9 months, I was heavily engaged day to day. And then as the company grew and we built out a management team, I shifted my role from something that had a day-to-day element to something that was 100% board. So I'm founder director of Industrial ML, and my commitment to the company is obviously as a fiduciary, but kind of at that level.
So again, no one's listening, so we'll pretend no one's listening. Which company do you feel has a bigger impact long term?
So Digital Alloys is a very innovative company. It's an innovative manufacturing technology, and it has some energy saving potential over other manufacturing technologies. And I hate to say it because I love the technology, but it's not something that I think is set up to change the world from a carbon footprint perspective. I wish there was more of that element weaved into the story and narrative of the business, but just being frank with the reality, I'm not sure that it's not at the core of that story. It's really a manufacturing innovation. Industrial ML, what's nice about this as a business is by nature of creating the financial value for our customers that we are creating, if I save you 3% by reducing scrap, in effect, I'm also reducing your carbon footprint by 3% because now you're not spending all the energy and the producing the carbon that you were on that 3%. So it's kind of in the background of the story from an impact or sustainability point of view. But Grow Clean, I think, has the largest direct potential to change the world from a carbon sequestration point of view. So what I'm getting at, and you might not know this about organic farming because I didn't know it until I started digging into it, regenerative organic farming has the ability to not only recapture CO2, but also improve our water supplies and ensure that we have healthy food. So it kind of checks a lot of boxes environmentally speaking. And I'll tell you a little bit about what we do there because I kind of didn't answer it or explain it. Grow Clean, what we do is we buy farmland and we convert it to regenerative organic, things that were spraying synthetic pesticides and synthetic chemicals.
You're bringing it back.
We're now doing regenerative organic. Good. So it's kind of changing the land at a fundamental chemical level and biological level, bringing it back to what nature originally had in store, a nice, healthy, fertile soil, right? So that's at the core of our mission. It's the core of the business is to do that. And that's where we get our financial returns from. That's how we deliver value to our shareholders and to our investors is through that long-term ownership and stewardship of the land.
Well, that's very interesting. Any political implications, with the elections, in everybody's mind all the time lately? Is there one party or another that seems to be more receptive to what you're doing? Am I allowed to ask that?
Of course. I mean, there's a flag on my lapel for a reason. I'm an American. I'm as patriotic as I think they come outside of those who served. So thank you for your service.
You are wearing red, white, and blue. So
Veterans Day is coming up soon too. We can't forget that election time. We tend to overshadow it. I'll step on my soapbox for a second because I do plan on running for office when I'm old enough. I'm too young, as they tell me still.
This is great. This is what we want.
What I think it is, it's not one party or another. The two established parties have failed us. The leadership has failed us, and we have people who should be retired on golf courses in Florida running the government. And it's just not set up for a 21st century mindset. There's a reason that people are trying to make this country like it was in the past. It's because that's what they were comfortable with, and change is uncomfortable for a lot of people. But we need leaders who can take us through change and implement innovative ideas to really help this country be the best it can be for the next 100, 200 years.
Well, I know you have one of my producers hooked because he worked for one of the national political parties for many years in Washington. And so I know that if he were allowed to talk on the show, he'd be chirping in right now in support of you. And I think it's great that you want to increase industrial productivity while protecting the environment and protecting all of us. I think that's what you're telling us. And you believe that there needs to be more leadership in this area. You want to provide leadership from a business perspective, and you want to turn it into a bigger social mission for yourself. That's what I'm hearing, which I think is very honorable. And, we appreciate talking to you about that. So if that's the case, AJ, and I hope I got it right, how would people find you if they wanted to track you and follow you?
Well, I've got it right here next to me. You can add me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's at AJ Perez USA.
Well, and we hope that this was your first public announcement of your political ambitions, societal ambitions.
I've told individuals, I think this is probably the first one that's on film recorded. A lot of people know my intentions one day. I only have the aspiration to do it because our leaders have failed us so tremendously.
AJ Perez, 2028. I don't know. I want to tell you that we're going to want to bring you back on the show. We think this is an important topic. I grew up in the food business, done a lot of work in the food industry. And I also care a lot about this wonderful place we live called Earth.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It'll be great to track you. And we look forward to you becoming a friend of Radio Entrepreneurs and talking to us, every once in a while. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell you a little bit about the businesses that I founded. I know they're, somewhat diverse, but also not. There's some 3D printing stuff. There's some industrial factory stuff. And then there's farmland and protecting the environment. Something I didn't mention is after selling my business, I went back to MIT and I've been teaching in the mechanical engineering department on manufacturing for the most part, but also at the business school focused on sustainability. So sustainability is something that's really near and dear to my heart. And quite frankly, we're not going to have a planet to call home 20, 30, 50 years from now if we don't take care of it now. A lot of people live by the expression, your body is a temple, but so is our planet. We need to take better care of it.
Well, I like the scientific approach. I also like the philosophical, biblical approach to things. But I think in terms of looking towards our future, we need to look towards science to help us to maintain this wonderful Earth that was gifted to us in one way or another. So,
of course, exactly.
I look forward to speaking to you again and to supporting AJ Perez, who is the founder of Industrial ML. I had pronounced it incorrectly when we started.
We go by IML as well, for short.
Okay, so I've done it both ways correctly. Yeah. Isn't that unusual?
Exactly.
All right. Well, again, thanks for being on the show. We look forward to talking to you again in the future.